As our final debate, while you're go ahead and casting your votes, we've got the professor, Justin Cobb, Captain Cobb, who's going to put a cap on everybody, right?
That's right.
And the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Joel Matta, and they're talking about arthroplasty in the young patient, resurfacing versus replacement. And resurfacing gets to go first.
So first of all, Joel, it's great to be here. 2026, we're here with living history. And this was the past, I will tell you. I'm trying to persuade you in the next 3 and a bit minutes. I've traveled 5,000 miles to talk for 4 minutes and persuade you that there is an alternative to the wonderful thing that Joel's created, which is a direct anterior with a table and fluoro, which has really shifted the needle. It's created a wonderful product, and I can't say that strongly enough. However, I'm going to use 4 topics to persuade you that resurfacing is a really good option. First of all, function. Don't just rely on the Harris hip score. Bill Harris is even older than Joel, and the Harris hip score, you can get full marks in Walmart. And I don't know if Ed Sue is still here. If you've seen Ed Sue's patients, they're back in the NFL, they're back in the NBA. They haven't got total hip replacements. They've kept the flexibility and strength of their femur. So don't rely on the Harris hip score for function. Think about gait analysis. Do you know not one surgeon has ever produced a clinical trial of human people with hip replacements walking like normal people, just walking, let alone running and jumping. So resurfacings don't create supermen and superwomen. They do allow them to be completely normal in how they run and they walk and they dance and they jump. That's function. The next is failure. Now, we heard some great talks yesterday and today about the management of periprosthetic fractures. Periprosthetic fractures are largely caused by stress shielding. Stress shielding, you can get fantastic fixation with your femoral stem, but that creates or starts the process of stress shielding very early, and it carries on. Now, what you will all know is that women live forever, okay? We'll be in the pavilion cheering. They're still going to be stumping around aged 100. So when you take your 50-year-old woman, think how much of her body are you going to cut out now, and who is going to look after that femur for the next 50 or 60 years? And if you do a resurfacing, the bone density of the femoral neck and intertrochlear area, it improves post-operatively. If you do a total hip, from day one, stress shielding starts, and there's no good evidence to suggest it ever stops. So your type C fractures 20 years after a hip arthroplasty, they're no fun. So let's get on to fixation of those failures. If you have that type C fracture, or even a B fracture, fixation of that is no great fun at all. And the best series you can see, the average hip score is 80. Now, the FDA says 80 or less is a clinical failure. With our resurfacing, with ceramic resurfacing, subcapital fracture, periprosthetic fracture, B2 fracture, they're easy to fix. They get a stem, dual mobility, they go in the next morning, and I've personally done 5 of these. We've had 5 periprosthetic fractures in the last 9 years. They're like a normal primary hip. They have a Harris hip score, median Harris hip score of 100. Completely different kettle of fish from median Harris hip score of 80. Finally, fear. Now, you guys have all come to this wonderful thing where we're learning how to do a better operation. The fear of doing your first anterior hip, it's similar to doing the first resurfacing. Yes, it's frightening, but it makes you a stronger man. And you're warriors. If you're coming here to do this surgery, you're warriors. Thanks.
4 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm up against it because I have such an illustrious British scientist and egghead, Mr. Cobb. But anyway, I have to rely on simple logic and observation. And I'll just say that if no total hip replacement had ever been made, we'd have the double cup. And that's what my mentor, Emil Letronel, used to call the hip resurfacing the double cup. And Harlan Amstutz would say, no, it's surface replacement. Later he changed it to hip resurfacing, because then you could say, don't get your hip replaced, get it resurfaced. And that was a good marketing ploy. But what's the history of the double cup? The Smith-Peterson Cup in the 1930s, it helped, but then beginning when I finished my training in the 1980s, we had Amstutz and Heinz Wagner advocating their double cup prosthesis. But what happened? This was 40 years ago. There was enthusiasm, there was failures, and then the enthusiasm went away. So then what happened again? It came back 20 years later. And this was Tom Schmaltzried was the evangelist at that time. But again, this is a metal era. There was enthusiasm, a lot of adoption, then failures. And actually a lot of lawsuits, unfortunately, which came out of that. So where are we now? We're 20 years later again. And we're told that it's come. So is it really logical to think this thing it goes through cycles every 20 years, and when it comes back, there's an ultimate failure. So is it really going to work? What's the failures have been blamed on is materials, and the material particularly always, like there's poly with the first one, metal the second one, but is ceramic really going to solve it? Sometimes when we try to solve a problem, we don't really understand the problem. Like initially with total hips, they called it cement disease, but it was wear debris. And one of the things I'd say that's not addressed is the vascularity of the femoral head, which is unique. And that's why hip resurfacing, one of the reasons I'd say it hasn't worked, that the femoral head, the epiphyseal portion is vascularized by the retinacular vessels which go along the posterior portion of the femoral neck. So when you ream the head, you cap it, these things are gone. And I heard Justin repeat what I'll call the fable I heard from Amstutz, that the circulation changes when you get arthritis. It's not what I've seen when I've reamed the head with resurfacing. I see a white femoral head. So hip resurfacing, and in fact, you're trying to save a reliable component because now stems are lasting over 90% survivorship at 30 years. Function, I've done patients that I do resurfacing on one side, total on the other, and they don't report a difference. I have patients that perform of a high level of sport after total hip, including professional sport. So I would just offer you, if you really think it's going to work this time, I think you'd love moving to New York City because Mayor Mandami just became mayor, and he's got a ceramic-coated socialist program that's going to work this time.
1 minute rebuttal.
As a secretary, that's pretty hard to follow. I want you to think about the next 25 years. Do you think in 25 years' time, you're still going to be cutting out a living femoral head and neck and looking your patients in the eye and saying, I'm doing this for your own good? There's a couple of interesting products to think about. One, a couple of bizarre papers of people banking femoral heads by popping them underneath iliacus, so were they to be needed in the future, they'd still be there for that patient. Another, commercially sensitive people, auto-banking. You can bank your femoral head and pay for it, rather like you can, young women can bank their eggs in case they need them in the future. Keep that living femoral head on the patient, and they're going to have much more fun. Thanks.
Wrap up.
Well, it's nice to have a living femoral head, but once you ream it and put that cap on it, you don't have a living femoral head. Just like you don't have a living femoral head after you cut it off the femur. So my advice is just wait and see. The new resurfacing might work. I don't know. Wait and see. The socialism in New York may work. It's never worked before, but wait and see. Don't jump right into it.
Don't wait and see. The FDA, I'm afraid, will never let it come into the United States, so you're safe.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So let's vote on this one. Are you a socialist, or do you want to go ahead and put a total hip in?